started playing in my head. Called without a choice, no doubt you'd be with her instead. No, it don't matter. Your decision.
Here we are. Welcome to episode 7 of the Ab Sessions. Here we are back at the beautiful Ab Records. This one's a long time coming as well. I mean, I think a few of them have been like that, but this one really is like I fam girl over this girl over here. You know what I mean? So, I remember discovering your music fully. So I honestly, I can't remember who posted it on their story, but I saw it, and at the time I was just freshly tasked with making the AAPI Spotlight playlist that we put on. And I remember listening to your music, and for sure, right off the bat, I'm like, yo, this girl is so soulful, and she's like, it sounds like you've been through so much for somebody that at the time I thought it was my age, you know what I mean? And then after meeting you after a long time of, like I said, fangirling over you, to find out how young you were, it didn't diminish the meaning of the song. It just made me think to myself, like, this girl must have been through so much, and I want to know more about her story from, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that's one of the reasons that, like, this is all culminated to today of you being here.
Thank you for having me. I think it's really cool that I remember the first time I got added to the AAPI playlist. I had a general sense of what the Av was through Instagram accounts and everything, but I remember feeling like, wow, this is like my first time being added to like a playlist, and I knew that you guys were also a platform that really wanted to represent Asian artists in the city as well. So to see Moment there with like all the other songs in that playlist, it was like a huge honor for me. And yeah, I love what you guys stand for and how you guys are such a tight-knit brotherhood, and you can definitely tell that you guys have each other's backs through thick and thin, and there's probably so many years that have gone into that. And yeah, I'm just really happy that you guys believe in me and that you guys have been fully supportive all the way through the process. It's definitely taken a lot of courage for me to like step into finding my confidence with my voice. A lot of that was just kind of like through high school, where I just struggled with like a lot of self-conscious stuff. Yeah, I just cared a lot about what people thought about me through high school, and like it wasn't until like I started like going to church and like really exploring my faith and spirituality where I started like being a part of the worship team, and then people in that community just like poured into me and like saw something in me. And you know, I've always known that I wanted to do music in some shape or form. I just didn't really know how to pursue it. So I kind of settled for a bit when my mom told me to just go to school, and like I knew that there was something missing just like going into communications. It was something she had suggested, and I went to school for like a good year, and then COVID hit, and then my cousin Keanu, he introduced me to one of the first engineers that I got to work with, and it was Aiden. And I saw so much promise in just wanting to create music, and I was like, this is like something that I've been waiting for. I can't withdraw back or just do it as like a side thing. I immediately dropped school because like I was paying like the same rate of tuition just to do online school, listening to a prof who didn't really believe in the material that they were teaching, and like all I was doing was just basically teaching myself at home. So I was like, this is kind of like a waste of money for the time being. I might as well just go all in with music while the opportunity is there. I had literally been praying for such a moment, and my mom wasn't happy with it though, but I did it anyways because I was like, I know that I've always wanted to do music, and you know, being able to just finally get to that point, just to even get started, because like I knew that there was like always like a spark in me that wanted to sing. It took one person and the right timing for me to actually feel ready to make such a decision, and I just went all in with it, you know? It's been like a huge journey because like there's like been so many ebbs and flows to it, And a lot of it was just tension and release of just, I have so much hope. I have all this ambition in me that I really, really want to pursue music, and I really want to set my intentions straight before I even dive into it, because I want to make sure that my heart is ready to take up such a calling. Again, with like the tension and the release is just like, you're constantly in the unknowing of what it's as a creative, you know? But I'm slowly learning that it's like the funnest part about doing life. Is just like being in uncertainty all the time, all these questions that get left unanswered. You know, your questions are heard, and you don't have to get the answers all the time. You kind of just trust, and with that trust, that is enough. Even a mustard seed of it is enough to push you forward, and through time and patience and grace, like the pieces will just fall into place. Is Six here? Mm-hmm. Ooh, let's say hi. What time is it?
He's like a minute from release as well. Hey,
hello.
Yo, I'll say what's up in like 5 minutes.
Okay,
no problem.
I'm gonna post.
2 minutes, bro. You got 2 minutes.
When you said somebody that really decided to take the time and really like invest in you, I think one of the first people that I want to bring up was Kenny. And just like you said, you worked with somebody before him, but it was kind of only your work that you've done with him that I've truly heard. And so for myself, no offense to anybody that you worked with before, but like your work with Kenny, obviously that's such a big step up from a lot of what other guys are doing for their first couple of big tracks, you know what I mean? And when I was in the studio with you that day, just your guys' process was so natural, and it was kind of a very cool process for me to see, and it reminded me a lot of actually the girl I'm wearing on my shirt. I've watched the documentary of Aaliyah and Timbaland when they worked back in the day, and how he really just pushed her. Like he really would just push her and get the best out of her. Like they have over 150 songs out together, but she only has like maybe 40 to 60 songs in her true discography, you know? So just how much he pushed her really reminded me of that when I was with you guys. Kind of explain a little bit about that, like just yours and Kenny's relationship.
Yeah, when I was kind of like at like an ebb throughout the process, where I was just kind of like at a low, and like I was just trying to figure out my next move in terms of like how I wanted to further develop with my music. And I didn't really know like what to do or how to do that. My childhood choreographer, who I used to dance with at Fresh Groove, he connected me with like two individuals, and their names were Roy and Francis, and they had like this nice little studio, a cute little studio just out in Delta, and I didn't really know how to like go about writing or starting a song. Well, no, I had an idea, but it was more so just like in this particular setting, like how can we create, especially since the dynamic in the relationship was so new. We pulled up Dylan Graham's beat site, and they're like, have you heard of him? I was like, no. He like, oh, this guy is like fire, like let me put you on, like his stuff is so easy to write to. And so we sifted through like one of their beat packs. They had a little Kalani filter on it, so they were sifting through like all of these beats, and then Things You Do was the name of the beat that they pulled up. But I remember just like looking at my laptop, as soon as the beat came up, I was like feeling it. I was like, let's do this one. And we started writing. Everything kind of came about so seamlessly, and like we ended up writing the song together, and they go by the name of the Loud Cats. When we cut that demo, to them they were already married to that demo, but to me it didn't feel finished. So then it was kind of like challenging my my instincts, and like my musical instinct. I don't really know how to, like it was coming to a test almost. Sorry?
Your creative intuition.
Yeah. And like listening to that demo, I was like, should I release this? Should I not? It doesn't feel finished. It's just not to a point where I want it to be. So I sat with the demo for like quite a bit. And on socials, I came across Beach House Studio, where Kenny owned it. And like I saw pictures and everything, and I had my eye on it, but I didn't really know how to get connected with him. One day he posts a beat on his story, and I replied to it with like a fire emoji, and he messages me back, and he's like, you want to know a crazy thing? And I'm like, what? He's like, I actually wanted to reach out to you and ask you if you wanted to do a feature on this song. And I was like, no way, like what's holding you back? So we scheduled the day. I pulled through to the studio, and like we cut vocals to that song. I already had an idea written for it and everything. And from there, I kind of like laid out my intentions in my heart in terms of like what I had for music, and how I kind of been in search for a new engineer. And he took me in, man.
And what song was that?
It was Love Lost.
Love Lost, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was pretty crazy.
I was hoping you said that. Okay, good.
Yeah. And like I get like very caught up in like just writing down my lyrics, but he was telling me for that particular session, he was like, we're gonna do a different approach. Put the laptop down, no typing, just sing. And like it was such a foreign process to me because there was that anticipated fear in me of like, I don't know what to say. Like I've never freestyled before, but it was crazy because it was where I found the most natural melodies for that song, and it all kind of just fell into place, and it was such a eye-opening experience for me too. I was definitely going through something at the time, but it was just very cool to me to like throw that fear to the wind and have him push me to a limit that I'd never kind of been to. And yeah, for him, like I'm like my ode to him, man. I'm forever grateful.
He really was like that first engineer and person that like took you from one level and was like, let's bring you to here.
Literally.
Yeah. Okay.
Took me under his wing. He even deemed me like his protege.
To be able to listen to your music, say like, yo, she's saying things that I have felt or I feel, you know, like I think that's another aspect of your music that people haven't had the chance.
Yeah, it speaks a lot to your maturity, not even as an artist, as just a person. And you know, thinking about your maturity, it's when I heard your song for the first time, I think it was Look What You Invented. I could hear the maturity in your voice, and it was like you've been preparing for this from like a child. And when I saw you performing at your release party, it's like you had done that a million times. It was like you were so comfortable on stage. And you know, my question is like, where did that come from? Where are the roots that helped you become such a good performer and vocalist and being in front of camera? You seem so comfortable with it. Like, where did that come from?
My mom loved putting me through a lot of like extracurricular things. She was basically like a child momager for me, and she put me through like singing competitions, dance, acting. She had me in like little baby commercials too. And she also even would put me in pageants too. What? Yeah, bro.
Momager.
Like, yeah,
That's
definitely
amazing.
a momager.
Shout out Tita.
For real though. And like just growing up, I guess like she definitely had some sort of agenda in shaping my childhood to kind of be around that. So I definitely have a whole lot of thanks to her in terms of like what she had planned. But even then, like half of the part was just like putting me in those environments. Like if you were to ask her one day, like she would go on about like how she always saw this like fire in me, and like how every time I just be on stage, it just looked like I just felt very comfortable and at home there. So that's one aspect of, I think, being comfortable. It's not even about the fact that like eyes are on me and people are expecting to perform. For me, it's more so just like an experience that I live in my head. It's like putting on like those VR goggles and you're in your own little world. You know, that's kind of like what it is for me. Obviously, taking into account with like the people in the room and like the energy that's like floating through the atmosphere and just riding off of that. But for me solely, I guess it's just like from those roots, my mom has always kind of just seen me as a performer. Kind of fell out of that because it started to take a toll on like my mental health. And then, as I mentioned, through high school, I went through a lot of like self-conscious bullshit. Am I allowed to swear?
Of course.
Okay.
Baby.
Just making sure. But yeah, just coming out of high school, I wanted to dive deeper into my faith and my spirituality. And when that came about, being in an environment where, you know, everybody just kind of sees the light in you and really wants to pull that out. People saw that whenever I would lead worship. You know.
So you led worship in church too.
I did. Yeah.
So do you think that helped you become such a really good performer? Because I when I saw you on stage, it was your first performance ever as an artist.
Yeah.
But it was like you had performed a million times before. The way you engaged the crowd, and so do you think that like helped to develop your roots as an artist?
Absolutely. When you're up on stage and leading people into like a spiritual space, it's a huge responsibility.
Where him and I were standing, your mom was right beside me.
I know, with their photos.
Yes.
You know, but for me, like that was so heartwarming to see. Was she knew every lyric of every song of yours, every lyric of every song, and I'm like, yo, like someone like she's singing some shit in these songs. You know what I mean? Like her mom was, you know, and your mom was out there singing every lyric, and that for me, like that's the biggest support. You know, like regardless of the content, she was like, that's my baby girl, and I'm gonna sing her lyrics louder than everybody here. And she was the oldest in the room, but her spirit was heavier and louder than everybody's there, you know? And it was while you were speaking on the mic, I said to her, I was like, what's your relationship to her? And she's like, that's my daughter. And like how proud she was, right? Like I was like, wow, that's so cool to see. And then she's like, I just want to go hug her. And I said to her, honestly, I was like, if there's anybody here that can crash her stage, I'm like, it's you. There's nobody in this room that's gonna put their arm around you and stop you. You go and you would say what you want to say. And then literally I was like, oh no, she's actually doing it. Because you were in the middle of having a speech and she walked up and took the mic and I was like, oh, here we go. But I think that was one of the most beautiful moments as well, to see that interaction between you and her. I know it was supposed to be a release party, but it turned into so much more than that, you know? There's a lot of people in the city that want to work with you now. And you've definitely been spreading your wings everywhere, and I think that's another beautiful thing to see. Like, explain like that jump you've had, like where you went from having like a comfort zone with Kenny to now you have this big comfort bubble of so many other people. Like,
in all honesty, like I never really like took it into account of like these people want to work with you. For me, it was more so like, this is an opportunity to meet more creatives, and I've always wanted to surround myself with more like-minded people. One of the first sessions that I collaborated with somebody was Rain, and from that holy night, like it kind of like put me in this different space and approach towards my music. Because then I met these two lovely individuals, and it was all very fresh and it was very, very different, but my goal was like being in a room with like different kind of individuals. Like I didn't want to be anybody but myself, and just falling into their hands and being able to collaborate them in such a safe space, they made it so easy. And from there, it kind of just like sparked something new, even though in that moment we didn't know. But we went out to Sopra after, and it was a fun time. Yeah, and like I remember telling Remi.
You said I look like fucking Frozo. That shit had me hot as fuck.
yo, I remember that day. You came in with the turtleneck. I was like, this guy's proper right now.
We just sitting in there.
Where's my super suit?
Oh, we just vibing, and then she just looks at me. She's like, I mean, you remind me of somebody. I'm just like, yeah, word.
Roasted him first time.
I'm like, yeah,
first
word.
dinner ever.
And I didn't think much of it, and then she was like, oh, it's Frozo. I didn't know if I was supposed to take it as a compliment or as an insult.
He laughed though.
Yeah, I laughed it off. It was funny though. It was a very organic night that we met. I think so, from the dinner to the session, even the talks we had. So there was a lot of organic energy inside. It kind of felt like it was one of those meetups that were bound to happen, one way or another, right? Like when we all came into this space, it kind of felt like we were all supposed to be there, and then we were supposed to continue working. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. It was cool when they called me Frozo, because it was like one of the vibes, you know?
Yo, Frozen is G too.
Yo, Frozo's a G. You know, being an artist, it takes a special sort of trait to take these commonalities in life and package them in a way where a lot of people can understand and relate to it. I think that's why people like J. Cole and like a lot of these other people that they see as greats, you know what I mean, they thrive so well, is because so many people can actually like tether themselves to the music. They can actually relate to the music. And you know, most people that probably listen to Closer Than Air probably think it's about a breakup, probably think it's about someone you've lost. Whereas like for you, it was about, you know, a family member or a dog. And that's a special trait, I think, in an artist, to be able to carry a message like that can be applied in so many different ways.
It was such an open to interpretation, meaning, and definition in that song. Yeah. My grandmother just passed away, and there's 2 lines in that song that really stick with me, and like there's a few lines in the song that, like, again, you would never know it was about a dog, because when people sink their teeth into it and they can kind of like reflect that song to themselves, it's open to their own interpretation. And for myself, that's how I interpreted it, you know what I mean? But like I said, I felt like at the time I was one of maybe a handful of people to truly know like the meaning and the foundation of that song, you know?
Yeah, on that wisdom, what were some lines that really, really stuck home with you that you wrote from the song?
It's hard to answer that question. I thought about it for a bit. I remember when I was in the studio and I was like trying to figure out that section of the song. Oh, how it hurts to hear you break down. Oh, how I cry, you're no longer around. I'm facing reality on my knees. My heart is a priority. I overthought that last line for like a long time, and I was just like, it sounds a little too corny, but I'm gonna stick with it anyways. Because it truly rang true to what I really wanted to say. And like, oh, how it hurts to hear you break down. That line was inspired because Brownie got to like a really, really old age, and he would roam around the house, and like sometimes at night you can hear him whining, and I could hear it from my room. And sometimes like he got really old to a point where like he would struggle to get up, and he would shout for help because he would be trapped on his side. And as soon as I would hear that yelp, the first one, I'm like running down the stairs, and I'm like just catering to him. And like it was so weird, when he was gone I would still hear his yelps downstairs, and like there would be like an automatic instinct for me to like jump up and like go help him right away. But obviously when he passed, I was like, there was that feeling of like, I don't have to jump and cater to that anymore. There was that sense of peace, but there was also like a sense of like being disheartened because he wasn't around.
And that was
anymore.
your guys' thing.
That gives a lot of context to the line Closer Than Air. Like,
definitely. Yeah, that has to be like, I think, my favorite line of the song. Usually like before a song even comes to me, like Remi and I talk about this all the time about like inner dialogue. And like I hear these like words and these phrases that ring true to the particular season I'm living in. And that particular time, I was just like trying to figure out what kind of season I was going through. And I remember battling with my faith during that time because there was so much going on that I didn't really know how to articulate it. I didn't know how to open up to my friends about it. Things just didn't make sense, and like there was like no clarity, and like I wasn't sure about anything. So hence like another one of my favorite lyrics is like the first section of the song. Lately I've been seeking clarity, the meaning of it's hard to see, your pleasure got me slipping, this heartache got me missing, the pressure had me wishing that pain would just let me be, hoping I'll find my peace again. And it's like it was crazy because I didn't know how to articulate it to my friends at all, like everything that was going on at the time. I felt like such a burden to everybody, just like maybe I was just complaining too much, of just like maybe I'm not grateful for like for anything in this current phrase, and like I'm just like being a complete pessimist, and that's why bad things are happening right now. But really no, it was just like there's just so many things just spiraling out of my control, and it led to that internal warfare with my faith and my spirituality. But I remember in the midst of just like feeling so overwhelmed of like my emotions and just trying to write the song, the words came so seamlessly And for that particular season, the phrase that I heard was closer than air. And if you were to unpack that, closer than air, like what does that mean? In the speed of a breath, that alone, when you focus it and when you center it, it has so much power to just keep you grounded and anchored, you know, in spite of how much pressure is like building within you during that point in time, you know? And if I were to get, and if you put that in like a spiritual lens, closer than air, like God is literally within the breath that we take, you know? And oftentimes when we're in the midst of chaos and we have no clarity, and we all have like the noise, it gets so loud in our heads, you know? But within that focused breath, taking him in as close as air, you're reminded that like he's never forsaken you. He's just as close as the air that you breathe. And to me, that was just such a powerful revelation, because I was battling with where he was during that time, or just like the overwhelming amount of questions that I had going on in my head, and just praying for an answer. And, you know, I'm just really glad that like that point in my lifetime was just kind of encapsulated within that one song. And through the lyrics, through the melodies, through tracking it, through bringing the idea to Kenny, through, you know, running downstairs to go pick up my dog, like all of that is like fully captured. And like in the lyrics, I can read them back and say that during this time I went through this, and I am no longer a slave to that pain anymore. I'm not that same person when I wrote that song, you know? And that is alone a testimony in the timeline that I can look back on and say that, wow, how I've grown. How I've like fallen more in love with myself and my music. I'm gonna get emotional. But yeah, through just branching out and really investing and just continuing to show up, a lot of that has kind of put mirrors up in front of me to really see different avenues of where I can actually take my creativity, you know, just challenging myself more and more of how I can improve and be better, and how I can be the precedent of this aura, this energy of every time I come into a room, like people are excited to, you know, work with NIKKAELA, because she's just like this light and this love that that is kind of unmatched, and you don't get, it's like a rare beam of light that shoots through the sky that you kind of like appreciate for the moment, and like when it's gone, it's like, wow, I can't believe I got to witness that, you know? Yeah, that's basically why I wanted to release it at the beginning of the year, is just because I wanted to put a close to that pain.
For everything that you just said, I think the one thing that I've already I came to the conclusion for myself, was the thing that I admire about you the most is your uncanny ability to be comfortable and find strength amongst the amount of instability and chaos that we as people find ourselves in on a day-to-day basis. I think what you've done for people is you've given people the chance to encapsulate everything that you've said and really kind of turn it for themselves. Before we continue anything else, let's I think we should step out of the room for a bit. Let's go brighten up the mood. Let's go have some drinks. Let's go do a quick walk around this place, get some change the vibe. And when we come in, we'll do a little bit more talking, and we'll get right into why we're all here.
Yeah.
I mean, I love talking. I love being around all my boys. But I mean, like, I'm super excited to hear you sing today. So.
But first, though, we gotta run up 6
I was just gonna say. Let's go.
Big
Let's
congratulations.
go, my boy. I'm so pumped to hear this.
Somebody get it.
You don't want nobody thinking that you're here for me. I know you came for me. If you just wanna dive in, come here, baby, take a peek for what you came to see. I know you came for me. They can say what they want, ain't nobody.
Nice to finally meet hate you. Beautiful soul. I thought we were gonna eat with our hands. Is that right? Happy birthday. 2-6. Happy release day. 2-6.
You're crazy.
Happy
Let's fucking go. All we know, baby.
Oh my god.
All we know.
Play that shit. Play that shit. DJ, play that shit back.
My own favorite.
Well.
6, you gotta blow.
Hey!
Let's go, baby.
It's been a year in the making. I was looking at my Instagram archive, like the stories, and literally a year ago was the first demo that Adam sent to me on my phone, and I took a screenshot of it. And then I was like, on this Instagram story, I was like, I have like a few singles that I want to drop, but before that, Ethereal first, and then like, cause it was the same time that Ethereal was like dropping this time last year. So this has been in the vault for like a whole year. The most vivid memory of it was like I was on my kitchen counter at home, and I was like, yo, I don't even know if I want to make music no more. I was just like, I'm gonna just do like the label thing and like the business side of it, cause like I'm good at that shit. And then I was just like, but before I do that, let me just write like one more hook, alright? I was like, let me just like do a melody or some shit. And the only melody that I could, or like the only words that came out of my mouth was like, I can't give up. Cause this is all I know. Like I'm too deep in it already. Like that's all I know, right?
Oh, and Jay did me a favor and did a 4-minute track. I love it.
Yes, sir.
I love it. Louder, bro, louder. One more time.
It's all we know. I'm addicted to the light. Welcome to the show. Can show you what it's like. Coming from the lows where you really gotta fight. No promise of the pro. We made it out of a dark zone. These are the shit that we go.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think you were an asshole. That's why this shit is so special. I used to be afraid. Couldn't afford mistakes. I'm gonna live today. Lifted on the beats. Waiting on it is life.
The vocals so damn.
I get this in my life.
The keys are so beautiful here. Midnight killed this shit.
I get this in my life.
That's midnight right there.
Oh my god.
That's midnight right there. Those are my favorite. Those keys.
Yeah. Oh. Woo. Let's give him a round of applause
Beautiful.
for this man.
Let's go.
It's out now.
Damn.
It's out in the
Let's
world.
go.
Everybody,
Let's go.
everybody, you haven't pre-saved that? Save it right now.
It's like when Kanye was like, everybody wanted to know what I would do if I didn't win.
I guess
we'll never know, you know? Like, you know? So.
I'm telling you, man. That day, when, like yesterday when I called you,
Yeah.
Be a footballer.
like I don't know why, like I've
That was this
never
morning.
Can we do a
gotten
quick
so.
walk around
Oh,
the
that was
street?
this morning.
Do one of those.
I said
Can we blaze?
yesterday.
Can we drink some beers?
It's crazy how like the backstory for this song was you wanting to quit.
Yeah,
Because that day where you posted the trailer, mind you, was when I had the same thought.
yeah.
And like,
No, I think that's why it resonates with so many people is because of like everybody wants to like give up on something sometime, you know?
yeah,
Your job, grind, relationship,
yeah,
life, like people always want like there's nobody that probably never wanted to give up on something. So that's why I was like, this is the perfect way to like just capture that. And like what Remi was saying was like you just have to package it in a way where it's relatable to other people, right? Not just about music, but anything. So.
yeah. Bro, I'm telling you though, like it's not even just like the song in itself and what it stands for, but you as an individual. Like I want you to know like how you're inspiring people like in a tangible way. Like I don't normally get this like, fucking pumped.
know,
Like,
like,
this song.
crazy.
You had me out here by a fucking cake for you. Yeah, like I'm telling you, bro, like you as a person, your song is like a bonus. But you've blessed me and you've inspired me to keep going as well. And like, no, for real, bro. I'm an ode to you, like not just in this moment, but like for like years to come, because like I don't think you quite realize yet like how much power you hold with yourself. There's years, no, listen, there's years worth of like shit that you've gone through that God only knows. I can only like comprehend to a certain extent. But like all of those years that have been impacted within you, like it shows, and it's through the leadership that you are bringing about through your music and how you're leading the ad and how you're touching like all the boys in your life, and like
trying to like let it out there, you know. I'm trying to like let others feel that too. So that's
and you're doing it
This
seamlessly.
is my first step on like doing that, so letting people inwards to see like all that stuff.
I'm so proud of you. Thank God you didn't stop.
Never. Thank you.
You inspire me, bro. You inspire me, bro. No!
I feel like, you know, I might have to say cilantro like that.
Stay true to the culture, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Are you wearing cowboy
when
boots?
someone pronounces it,
Those are sick.
but like, you know, when someone pronounces an ethnic.
Jay, Jordan, I want to do an ab session on these guys. I just gotta get these guys. Daisy, let's go for a smoke outside or something.
Get the fuck out of here.
You're on oil change and then you did the fucking video of you like Fast and Furious.
Oh no, I did. I just fucking like nothing. I just changed the list.
Another momentous night. NIKKAELA in the house, ever presenting.
Hi, Jojo.
Yo, what the fuck? Taking lyrics. No.
Most common thing he says to me, bro, I'll be on the seat. I'll just be working away, right? We just do some shit. And he'll come to me and he'll be like, Remi, man.
Finish it, man.
How do we do this every time? It takes us like 30 seconds to make a song, bro. And I'm just like, I'm just the guy in the seat, so I'm just like, yeah, actually, yo, we do work pretty fast. But then he's actually like bewildered, like he's in the corner, like just like, how do we do this so fast?
It's Pisces season out in this bitch, you know, representing. Gotta bless the energy right now. I got Father Sheldon in the cut.
Yeah, we can do a practice.
Pastor Sheldon, Reverend.
Welcome to church, kids.
You see, he's got the cross on the ears.
I just really kind of Sheldon's just out here smoking everybody up like a father.
You guys keep the crew high, yo.
Me after.
I can't get high with you guys. I can maintain.
Good, Frankie.
Russ uses the mic. A lot of great artists use this mic. This guy uses the mic. We've had some fucking great. You're such a handsome fellow. Especially with those new glasses.
You know what? You know why? It's because I got this cut from Rain Coos, and then he gave me these frames.
Yes.
That's why. He just glowed me up. Gum, freaking charger, glasses, everything. Yes. This is it. There's so much space, you know? And you can rock it like this.
Yeah, put a little strut on for us. Yeah.
Or you can.
I'm forever yours, faithfully.
Dylan's a good talker, man.
That's gonna be a different one than
That's gonna be so good because their job is talking. Their job is to talk. So he's like, wait, you guys are gonna have me and Richard talking? Oh, he's like, you guys are gonna have some good content. And I was like, that's so sick. Yeah.
Six, can you give me a hook real quick on your new song?
I got you.
Okay.
And there she goes. Of course.
Let's just take one deep breath before we start. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Holding down emotions, you're replaying in my head. Called without a choice, no doubt you'd be with her instead. No, it don't matter. I'll take it down and take it for granted. What more did you need from me? Why the sudden urgency? My time was invested. On my phone, you ain't got the right. This shit hits close to home. Part of my trust you led to believe, babe. Out of my mind, confused on what I need to say, yeah. Oh, I'ma just focus on me. Kill time and listen to the soul that did me, yeah. Even though my words are said and planted, I use the rope to my advantage. Look what you invented. Don't say it down and take it for granted. What more did you need from me? Why the sudden urgency? My time was invested. Oh, whoa, I wish it were different. Whoa, didn't realize that you were missing. Holding down emotion. Holding down emotion. Look what you invented. Don't say it down and take it for granted. What more did you need from me? By the sudden urgency, my time was invested. Lately, I've been seeking clarity. The meaning of it's hard to see. Your pleasure got me slipping. This heartache got me missing. The pressure had me wishing that pain would just let me be. Hoping to find my peace again. Want you to stay with me on my knees. I gotta sacrifice my needs. You are my therapy, and I can't believe your effect on me. Ooh, on nights where I'd be alone, where I couldn't prepare, I feel your presence is closer than air. On nights where I'd be alone, where I couldn't prepare, I feel your presence is closer than air. Every time I think of you, my mind go press rewind. Bittersweet in my memories, underneath were all the signs. I knew it was time to let you go. Too many factors on my control. Oh, how it hurts to hear you break down. Oh, how I cry, you're no longer around. Facing reality on my knees. My heart is priority. You are
got the fucking R&B. Oh, she's going crazy. Woo.
Those rhymes, though.
It's
everybody tickets. Yeah.
See, there's nobody in this room that I couldn't see myself being stuck on an island with. You know what I mean? Because every single one of you is so intriguing and interesting in their own way and brings something cool to the fucking table. You know, like I think that's what makes us as humans so interesting. Is like we never know everything because you meet somebody new and then you learn something new. And today, like, just being around you people, like I'm never afraid to show my emotions, and everybody who knows me to a core level knows that I'm a pretty emotionally driven person. I think I can speak for everybody here to say like those songs that you just performed for us gave everybody the opportunity to go into their own headspace for a moment and really just, like I always said at the beginning of this, like just interpret it to like what they wanted, you know? And even though you gave us the meaning and the definition of that memoir before you sang it, like I was still able to put myself in my own shoes just throughout the lyrics of that. And I think that's going to be the most beautiful piece of people hearing that. And to say that you gave that to us is like an exclusive, like the first performance, like the first, it's not even out yet, you gave that to us, like that just shows your love for us as well. And I think that's something that you've always shown us, is that love and that respect, and we reciprocated 100%. There's a reason you're standing here today doing this with us, you know? And I always say, like, I'm very blessed to be able to host the show with my guys and everybody here that's here doing stuff to make this happen. You really culminated everything today and made this really worth it. And I always say, like, every episode gets better. You've made it really difficult to make the next one better, I swear. Yeah. But to close this out on a good note, honestly, I love every single one of you guys that's here. From Remi behind the scenes making this performance go, baby, you adding all that insight that you did, because there were times I was so immersed in being a fangirl over her that I froze, you know? So to have you really come in and do that for me today, that was beautiful. Again, everybody that showed up, the hard work and everything that we put into this today is going to really shine in this episode. So I appreciate every single one of you guys being a part of the revamp of the Ab Sessions. I think that we've got a lot of cool shit coming out, and going forward that this show is just going to get better and better, because everybody here gets better and better. I get better at what I'm doing. Everybody behind the camera gets better at what they're doing. And I think that's what this was about, was just everybody having the opportunity to be them. And you came here and you were you. So thank you very much.
So thank you guys. Yeah. Well, thanks for making it so easy, guys. Like, I'm very grateful for like a lot of the creative energy in the room, because it's definitely inspiring, and I hope that we can take that from one another and, you know, go our separate ways from this point on, and like you know, hopefully look inside a little bit deeper and be okay with those unanswered questions, and to really lean into that breath that you take whenever there's noise, whenever there's that sense of brokenness that is sitting within you. Don't be afraid to dwell there for a moment, because from that place where you were vulnerable with yourself and are broken and no longer hiding away from that pain, and you truly invite it in, it'll set you free. As contrasting as that sounds. But yeah, even in the midst of your own darkness, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. You're always gonna see the light of day. So just continue to believe in that and like carry that hope every single day. Choose it every single day. From the moment you wake up to the night you put your head on your pillow. Be at rest, be at peace. You know, you guys are guided and you guys are protected, and there's so much promise and love that you guys carry. So channel that and share it to the world, because this world needs more of it. From darkness to light. Yeah!
That's a wrap.
I love you guys.
I think that's a wrap.
Cheers! To new.
Honestly, thank you everybody
Ab
for being here
Sessions,
today.
episode
Such a child, bro.
7.
Ab Sessions, episode 7. That's a wrap, baby.
That's a wrap. Oh, okay, he drops it. That's a wrap, baby. All we know out on all platforms, baby. Go stream that shit.
Stream it.
Weight of the hurt, though it burns.